The Astounding Story of the Rainiest Day on Earth Part 1. Meghalaya's Cherrapunji received 1,563 millimeters of rainfall 20 years ago. An amount that would finish off most Indian cities today. The best rain picture that was trending in the past few days was one of a cascade formed by gushing waters on an arterial road that had caved in Gurgaon's Millennium City. It was a picture that showed what rain can do to an Indian suburbia. Gurgaon may have been the butt of internet jokes last week, but no Indian city is capable of making it easily through a day in which it rains more than 50 millimeters. Delhi has been through days when it rains 70 millimeters a day. This monsoon's total for the capital is 147.8 millimeters, and was brought to the verge of a breakdown. But many towns will drown without a fight if rains as much as 100 millimeters on one day. Coastal cities like Mumbai get through such days better. In the 24 hours up to June 24th. This year it rained 142 millimeters in the financial capital. What if it rains 1,500 millimeters on a single day? Just 20 years ago, on June 15, 1995, it rained 1,563 millimeters in a 24-hour cloudburst in Meghalaya's Cherrapunji, a plateau on the voluminous arms of the Kasai Jaintia Hills. It is a world record for 24 hours of rain. The next recorded heaviest rainy day in Cherrapunji was in 1876 when it rained 1,041.4 millimeters, according to the Gazetteer. To understand the apocalyptic nature of such rain, see this. The highest rainfall ever recorded in Delhi was on July 20 to 21, 1958, when it rained 121 millimeters. A city report about that day, using the usual cliché, said many parts of the city were inundated. A day unfolds. An account of that day with the most rainfall in the world is quite astounding. B.L. Mondal, who was the meteorology observer at the Met Office in the main market square in Cherrapunji, remembers the day as one of thick fog and very low stratus clouds hovering around the region very threateningly. For 40 days, it had rained non-stop that month. It was a day that rain men dream about or dread. When the first measurement for rain was taken that day at 8.30 m, there was the first sign of danger. It had rained 175 millimeters since the previous night's reading. The automatic gauge, which notes rainfall on a graph paper using a moving stylus, was not working that day, which was nothing unusual. Any Met man would have hallucinated looking at the amount of rainwater that had collected in that glass millimeter barrel, 175 millimeters. It was nothing compared with what was to pour down on the plateau of Cherra, as Cherrapunji is also called. On that day when the heavens opened like never before. What Mondal registered in the evening 5:30 p.m. reading was even more stunning. 440 millimeters of rain had poured on the small village during the day. It was more than enough to drown entire towns in the rest of the country. From 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., the time for the last reading of the day, it had rained 110 millimeters. The overnight reading at 5:30 m the next morning was 680 millimeters, and the 8:30 m reading showed 158 millimeters. Any Met man would have thought he was hallucinating as he totaled the 24-hour rainfall to 1,563 millimeters on Cherra. or Sara as it is also called. That darling of the clouds, that mountain ringed and snared in that deadly embrace of the clouds. Though papers reported heavy rain, none had realized that a world record had been broken in this tiny village. A bridge near Mazandaran was washed away and 2 people were killed. The reports said. Some reports said that the Brahmaputra was rising dangerously. But nothing betrayed the apocalyptic nature of that day's deluge. The Met Department did not, unsurprisingly, expect this miracle of nature, but casually issued a heavy rainfall warning for Andamans and Assam.